So I've been flying the DJI Mavic 4 Pro for over 2 months now, and I have a lot to say about this drone. A lot of good things, of course, as it's one of the best drones that DJI has ever made, but there are also some serious issues that I think you should know about. So in this video I wanted to do a complete, honest and unbiased review after 2 months of flying it almost every single day, and let you know all the good things and the bad things about this drone. Also, please keep in mind that this video is not sponsored by DJI. I already did another video on the Mavic 4 Pro that you can watch here if you want to see what this drone is capable of, and I promise you it's worth it. But in this video I just wanted to talk to you about the things that I like and the things that I don't like about the Mavic 4 Pro. This video does have a sponsor, and that's Artlist, but we'll get into that later. So straight out of the box you can immediately tell that the Mavic 4 Pro has a completely new design, which honestly feels more premium. A lot of people were saying it's ugly, it's weird when they first saw the pictures. And I was kind of expecting that too, but once you get your hands on it, you can immediately tell just how nice and how premium it feels. Like even the drone labels that used to be simple stickers on the Mavic 3 Pro are now engraved on the body of the drone itself, which looks really nice in my opinion. One of the first things that you notice is that the setup time has drastically improved. Once you unfold the drone, it immediately powers on, and the same goes for the new remote, the DJI RC Pro 2. Once you unfold it, it powers on and you're ready to fly in just a few seconds. No more screwing and unscrewing the sticks, no more double pressing any buttons. You just take it out and you're ready to fly, and I absolutely love this. And now let's start with the things that I love the most about the Mavic 4 Pro. And the first thing, of course, especially for any professional filmmaker, is the image quality. The Mavic 4 Pro has a new triple camera system with a new gimbal design and a new 4/3 sensor on the main camera, with a lower aperture of f2 that can go all the way up to f11. It can shoot 6K videos in up to 60 frames per second, and honestly the main camera on this thing simply delivers one of the best image quality that I've seen on a drone. The second camera is a 70mm lens with a 1/1.3 inch sensor, the same camera found on the DJI Air 3S, but this one is at a fixed aperture of f2.8 that shoots in up to 4K 120. And lastly, the third camera has a 1/1.5 inch sensor at the same fixed aperture of f2.8. All three cameras can now finally shoot in D-Log, which is great, and the image quality is quite nice from all three of these cameras. If you get the Creator Combo, which is the one that I have right here, it now comes with 512GB of internal storage, which is great as you no longer have to use an external SD card, and it's also the only one that allows you to record videos in all Intra, as we'll see later. It's quiet, it's stable, it's so much fun to fly, and it's also super fast, which makes it one of the best drones that DJI has ever made. If you're looking for the best image quality on a drone, then you should just stop watching this video, go ahead and buy one, as it's really the best you can get right now. It's almost as good as the Inspire 3, well, not really, it's still not there. But also keep in mind that the Inspire 3 is 6 times more expensive, and it's also a completely different cinema setup, so the fact that this drone can come even close to that says a lot. The image quality is really similar to what I get from my Sony FX3, which I love. And yeah, if you just want the best image quality on a foldable drone, then this is the right one to get. Now, DJI says it has 16 stops of dynamic range, and it's kind of true, I guess. You won't get the same dynamic range as you would get from a full-frame sensor like the DJI Inspire 3 or the Sony FX3, but what DJI is doing here is it's combining multiple exposures into one to get more dynamic range. And the result is simply a mind-blowing image that really looks better than on many cameras. As you can see in this shot, we have such a nice looking image that is really well balanced with so much detail both in the shadows and the highlights. You can clearly see the details in the sky and the clouds, all without sacrificing the shadows, which is really amazing. So the dynamic range is really one big improvement that I noticed immediately on this drone. To think that we can now achieve such an insane image quality on a small drone like this, I mean, it's crazy. I've been honestly impressed when I started looking back through all my footage captured on this drone. And I can honestly say that the image quality alone for me would be reason enough to upgrade even from the Mavic 3 Pro, as the difference is quite significant, at least when it comes to videos. When it comes to photography, the DJI Mavic 4 Pro can now deliver 100 megapixel photos, which is great for capturing all the details, for cropping, and it's amazing for someone who likes to print their own photos, as you just have a lot more details and a lot more flexibility. But keep in mind that the camera is still a 25 megapixel camera, it just takes advantage of that quad barrier system to produce 100 megapixel photos. And it now also supports a free Panorama mode, which I honestly love. You know, previously you had to rely on all these pre-built presets, but now you can manually select the area that you want, and it will automatically decide the number of shots and take that panorama for you. Here I ended up selecting the area that I wanted, and it only took 6 shots instead of 20, and got me a much better result, exactly what I wanted, and I honestly love this new feature. Now let's talk about the new gimbal design. One of the biggest upgrades in the Mavic 4 Pro is the new gimbal design, which DJI calls the Infinity Gimbal, and it so happens that it's also one of my biggest issues with this drone, but we'll get into that a bit later. The new gimbal now allows you to rotate the camera up to 440 degrees, which is honestly a lot. You can now do 360 camera rolls on a drone for the first time ever, and it just unlocks a lot of flexibility and creativity for everyone. It really allows you to get shots that were simply not possible before. You can now get a more dynamic camera movement, and you also get a full 70 degrees upward tilt, which is great, and probably the biggest upgrade is that you can now shoot 6K vertical videos on a drone for the first time ever. And I know for many people that might be like the best feature on this drone and probably the thing that will make most people want to upgrade. And it's actually one of my favorite features too, don't get me wrong, but, and there's a big but, there are some big issues with this new gimbal design that we'll cover in a bit. Let's just focus on the good side for now. Having the ability to record 6K vertical videos is just awesome, especially if you're someone who makes content for social media like Instagram Reels and TikToks. You no longer have to crop and lose a lot of details like on the Mavic 3 Pro for example. Here you can actually crop and still maintain a lot of the image as it is 6K vertical videos, so yeah, this is a huge upgrade. The camera rotation effect on the other hand, I think it will get boring after a while, especially if people start overusing it. And it's also something that you can easily achieve with editing. But yeah, the new gimbal design is definitely one of the biggest upgrades on the Mavic 4 Pro. The battery life on this drone is insane. DJI says you can get up to 51 minutes of flight time in theory. In real world, I get just over 40 minutes of flight time, which is honestly amazing. It's really more than enough to get all the shots that you need. I think it was the first time where I didn't have to completely stress out the batteries and go into forced landing mode, as I usually fly until my batteries hit that 0% to get all the shots that I need. But with this, I didn't have to once worry about the batteries. Really love the flight time on this drone. The new charging hub can also supercharge all your batteries fast, all 3 of them at the same time in about 1 hour and 20 minutes if you use the DJI power adapter. Now I'm gonna say this, once you try the RC Pro 2, you just won't be able to get back to anything different. It is simply gorgeous to have all that screen when flying, being able to see all the details, the exposure, the colors, the framing. It is just such a pleasure to look at this screen when flying. It has a 7-inch mini LED display with a 10-bit color depth and covers about 98% of the DCI-P3 color gamut. It is super bright at 2000 nits, which is really handy especially when flying outdoors under the sun and you have all that harsh light. And with this, you no longer have to worry about that. You can also tilt the screen at any angle that you like, and it's just such a game changer to look at this screen while flying. What I love the most about it is that you simply unfold it and it immediately powers on and is ready to fly. And not having to screw and unscrew the sticks every time is just such a relief. It's just such a clever design by DJI, and it's one of my favorite features on the DJI RC Pro 2. If you rotate the screen 90 degrees, it will automatically enter the true vertical mode and shoot 6K vertical videos or photos. And it also has a new rotation wheel that allows you to easily switch settings like the shutter speed, the aperture or the ISO, even when wearing gloves, which is really handy. So yeah, super happy with this RC Pro 2. Really well done, DJI. Now, before we dive into the things that I don't like about this drone, I just wanted to quickly say a huge thank you to Artlist for sponsoring this video. If you've been watching my videos for a while, you probably know that I've been using Artlist since day one. That's where I get all my music and sound effects for my videos. But over the years, Artlist have just become a lot more than that. It is now an all-in-one platform that not only have the best music and sound effects for your videos, they also have one of the best video libraries out there. lot of different templates and plugins that you can use, lots for color grading your videos, a voiceover generator that allows you to create human-like voiceovers, or even generate photos or videos with AI, simply by writing a text. And you have all of that in just one place, which is honestly amazing. One of the things that I like the most is a feature called Artlist Tools that allows you to search for all the music and sound effects directly inside Premiere Pro. It's just such a game changer being able to search for all the sound effects, for example, without leaving my editing program and simply drag them directly into the timeline, saving me so much time when editing. And it also has some other cool features that allow you to automatically remove all the unwanted silence from your videos, for example, or even highlight the key moments automatically in just one click. You really get a lot with Artlist, and these guys are simply the best at doing what they're doing, and it's making our job as creators a lot easier. One example is the brand new trending songs feature that Artlist just launched, where you can see all the trending songs from platforms like YouTube, Spotify and TikTok, and Artlist suggests you similar songs with the same vibe as the ones that are trending, only these are royalty free and can be monetized. You can even filter these trends by country if you want to have only the songs that are trending in certain countries, for example, which is really handy. So yeah, as you can see, these guys are always coming up with something new, something creative, which I love. If you want to try Artlist for yourself, there is a link in the description that will give you 2 months for free. Thank you Artlist for sponsoring this video, and for just being amazing really. And now let's get back to the video and talk about the things that I don't really like about this drone. Now, the Infinity Gimbal, while it seems like it's the biggest upgrade on the Mavic 4 Pro, its design has some very serious limitations. When you're trying to capture vertical photos or videos, because of its hardware design that allows it to actually rotate, you are very limited to how much you can actually move the camera up and down. You only get around 10 degrees of moving the camera up and 10 degrees down, which is really annoying. So much so that in most cases when I wanted to use the true vertical mode, I ended up shooting in normal mode and simply crop it, because I just couldn't get what I needed in the frame. Most of the time you just end up with a lot of sky in the frame, which is really annoying. With this limited range of motion, it makes it really difficult to use the true vertical mode on this drone. So, while the true vertical mode sounds like a huge upgrade, it's not really usable in most cases, as you cannot point the camera up and down how you want. You're simply limited to the camera pointing forward, and it can do the job in some cases, let's say when you're flying close to the ground, but in most cases you will simply end up with a lot of sky in your frame, as you're simply not able to get the right composition, which is honestly a bit frustrating. Another issue with the vertical mode is the speed limitation. The drone becomes really slow. It just loses all its power and speed for some reason and flies in a really weird way. When flying and shooting in vertical mode, you also need to be super careful, as the drone requires a lot more time and space to brake, so it's very easy to crash it when you're flying close to objects or obstacles. Here in this shot I stopped at around here and was actually going full speed backwards, trying to make the drone stop. But as you can see, it was still going forward, which was really frustrating, so it's just something to keep in mind. As long as you're careful with it, it shouldn't really be a problem, just maybe don't fly really close to objects or buildings or obstacles in vertical mode. Another downside is that the Mavic 4 Pro no longer records videos in ProRes 422, which is kind of a bummer, especially for all those people that use drones professionally. I personally don't really use ProRes that much, unless I'm using my DJI Inspire 3, that's the only time I'll be using it when shooting 8K ProRes RAW videos, but on my Mavic 3 or Mavic 4, I just stick to H.264 or 265 to save up a lot of space and a lot of money on hard drives, as in the end there's not really that big of a difference. But for all those people that work in teams or with companies that actually require you to provide videos in ProRes 422, that can be a huge problem. If you get the Creator Combo, which comes with 512GB of internal storage, you also have the ability to shoot 6K uncompressed all-I or all-intra, which simply look incredible. If you watch my Mavic 4 video, it was entirely shot in 6K uncompressed all-intra, and the image quality is simply one of the best that I've seen. If you get the basic Fly More combo on the other hand, you only get 64GB of internal storage, and unfortunately you no longer have the ability to shoot in all intra, you just get the compressed H.264 codec. So that's something that you really need to be aware of, especially if you're thinking about getting the base model. And lastly, the main camera now has a focal length of 28mm instead of 24, which can be a bit tight in certain cases. Here in this shot, for example, I was already all the way back, flying behind some trees, trying to capture all the waterfalls coming down from the mountains in the background, and at the same time keeping the trees in the foreground, as it's just such a special place. And I think having a 24mm focal length instead of the 28 would have been a much better choice, as it just allows you to get so much more in frame. It's not really a big problem, it's just something to keep in mind depending on where you're flying and what you're doing exactly. If you do a lot of real estate with your drone, then I guess it could be a problem, as you are always limited with the space that you have and how far away you can actually get from your subject. But other than that, it's not really that big of a deal. Overall, these are some of the things to keep in mind if you're thinking about getting one. But considering all the good things and the improvements on this drone, like the new design, the improved flight stability, a much better obstacle avoidance, also thanks to the new front LiDAR sensor, the increased speed, the improved battery life, the better wind resistance, a better video transmission, and a faster battery charging time, I really think DJI got a lot of things right on this drone. Now, is it perfect? No, of course not, especially because of all the issues that we discussed here. But no drone is perfect, and in my honest opinion, the Mavic 4 Pro is really the best drone that you can get right now. So yeah, thank you guys for watching. I really hope you enjoyed watching this video, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.